Let's talk about all other autoimmune symptoms that come along with your underlying condition, but you might not just be aware of it. Welcome back to my channel. I am Sylvia and I'm a carnivore diet coach. For those of you that are watching me for the first time, I myself was battling with autoimmunity for many years. My flavor of autoimmunity was rheumatoid arthritis. I was able to reverse it, and now I help other people to deal with their chronic conditions. And over the years, doing it myself and helping other people, I noticed that there are certain patterns and other symptoms that come along with the underlying autoimmune condition. Watch till the end. The last one will surprise you probably the most, and also learn what I did to reverse rheumatoid arthritis permanently. Let's start with fatigue, because this is a universal symptom that comes with just about every autoimmune condition. You're diagnosed with autoimmunity, you also have a fatigue. You might not be aware of it in the beginning, but as time goes by, this will become more and more evident. You wake up tired, you drink lots of coffee, some would get better, but in the afternoon, you're right back to being fatigued, and it doesn't get better later in the day. Whether you opt for the natural treatment or prescription medication, fatigue follows just about every autoimmune condition. Next, very common symptom of autoimmunity are achy joints and painful muscles. And I know what you are thinking, isn't that the rheumatoid arthritis? And you are right. The primary diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis is off of your painful joints and antibodies you develop to your joint tissue. And the main symptom of rheumatoid arthritis is the swelling and terrible achiness of the joints. But this is not unique to rheumatoid arthritis. Many other autoimmune conditions have that achy joints, achy muscles, maybe not to the degree that you experience it with rheumatoid arthritis, but other conditions have it as well. Related to the achy joints and muscles is stiffness. A lot of people with autoimmunity wake up and they feel stiff in their entire body. Now, with stiffness, that tends to ease up throughout the day. Sometimes it is as short as 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it goes 2 to 3 hours. And I had clients that were stiff for about 6 hours out of their day. If you are diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, you will for sure experience stiffness. Usually this happens first thing in the morning, upon waking, and it resolves itself throughout the day. Some people experience stiffness like 10 to 20 minutes in the morning until they start moving for the day. And some people need 2 to 3 hours, and some of us 6 hours. I know this sounds horrid, but it is a reality for many of us. Now, it is guaranteed rheumatoid arthritis, but it is also happening to people that have other autoimmune conditions. So if you feel stiff and you have multiple sclerosis or Hashimoto's, this isn't uncommon. Brain fog, that's a big one, also very common with autoimmune conditions. And if you follow me for a while, you know that I am convinced that all autoimmune conditions originate in our guts. And to reverse it, you have to heal your gut. And it is my experience that if you have a messed up gut, you're also going to have a messed up brain, and it will manifest as fatigue and brain fog, inability to think, inability to concentrate. You don't produce quality thoughts, and to think is just an unusual effort. If you have autoimmunity, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Weight changes are also very common to all sorts of autoimmune conditions. Typically, weight gain happens if you have Hashimoto's, so underactive thyroid. But I've noticed this, it happens with other people as well, because a lot of us develop secondary autoimmune conditions. So you might have rheumatoid arthritis or lupus and Hashimoto's. And also there's another aspect. If you have autoimmunity, you're oftentimes fatigue, you have a brain fog, you're in pain, you feel miserable, and you medicate with your favorite foods. And that often results with undesired weight gain. Low-grade fever is another common symptom of all autoimmune conditions. And I was dealing with it myself. I just never made a connection until later in life. I had slightly elevated body temperature, and I was blaming it on the Fahrenheit because I grew up on Celsius, and I thought I wasn't just not reading the thermometer right. But it all normalized once my rheumatoid arthritis went into remission. Dry, itchy eyes is another common symptom of autoimmune conditions, and I experienced that myself. At first, I thought it was allergies, but I had this itching in my eyes all year round. I was scratching really hard right inside my eyes, right here. The eyes felt dry and very itchy in those corners. Now, it is common for rheumatoid arthritis people to develop Sjorgen syndrome, which is when your body makes antibodies to your tear glands and to your salivary glands. I don't believe I had a major issue of that, but the itchy eyes was a thing. I never had dry mouth, but the itchy eyes were crazy. And that too went away when my rheumatoid arthritis went into remission. Enlarged lymph nodes is also a very common symptom of autoimmunity, and it makes sense because if you have elevated amount of antibodies, lymph nodes is the one that moves them around. So yeah, it's very common to feel kind of always a little bit swollen, like you're about to get a cold but not quite. That's a very common symptom for autoimmune people. And last but not least, the most surprising symptom of autoimmunity is sensitivity to the sun. I kid you not, if you have autoimmune condition and you go out in the sun for 20 minutes, you oftentimes come back with a red, itchy rash that lasts for several days before it clears up. Don't worry about it. You're not a vampire. You just have autoimmunity. And it is a little bit paradoxical because people with autoimmunity tend to be also very much vitamin D3 deficient because of the elevation of antibodies that consume the vitamin D3. So at least in theory, people with autoimmunity would benefit from the sun exposure to build the vitamin D3 stores, but it becomes a painful experience until your immune system normalizes through the diet. And there we are, we arrive at the question of diet. I reverse rheumatoid arthritis by going on a very specific diet, which a lot of you know it as carnivore, but my twist on the carnivore diet was a paleo-ketogenic diet, which I got from the clinic in Hungary, Paleo Medicina. In just 10 days of following it strictly, I got about 80% better. And within 6 months, I was all symptoms free. And all those other nasty symptoms that I was mentioning in my video went away as well. All right, this will do it for this week's video. Send it to anybody that is losing their mind over a variety of symptoms that they're experiencing along with their underlying autoimmune conditions. I'm sure this will help them. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.